This story is called The City from the Window. The window is tall and the city is below it. It begins where the glass begins and continues outward and downward for a long way. Streets and rooftops and the lit grids of other buildings, spreading toward a horizon that cannot quite be seen at this hour, because the city's own glow rises to meet the dark before the dark can establish a clean line. It is late, not the latest hour, but late enough that the city has passed through its evening busyness and arrived at something slower, something with more space in it. The traffic still moves on the larger roads, but thinly now, in ones and twos rather than in streams. The windows of the other buildings are mostly dark, with exceptions. Scattered rectangles of warm light here and there across the facades, each one its own small evidence of someone still awake, reading, or working, or simply, like you, not yet asleep. The apartment behind you is quiet. A single lamp is on, somewhere across the room, low and warm, and its light reaches the window only faintly, which is the right amount, enough to keep the room from darkness, not so much that it competes with the view. The glass holds a faint reflection of the room layered over the city, the suggestion of the lamp, the pale shape of a chair, your own outline, transparent, with 10,000 lights shining through it. You are standing close to the window, close enough that your breath, when it touches the glass, makes a small circle of fog that fades as soon as it forms. The glass is cool. The night outside is cooler still. You can feel the difference radiating through, the thin boundary between the warmth of the room and the air above the city. You rest your fingertips on the windowsill. The sill is painted wood, smooth, slightly cool, solid in the way of things that have been part of a building for a long time. The city makes its sound. From up here on this floor, the sound is not the sound of any single thing. It is the sum, the blend, the low continuous wash of everything happening at a distance. Traffic on the arterial road 4 blocks over. A ventilation system on a nearby rooftop, humming its single sustained note. Somewhere very far off, a train moving through the rail corridor, more felt than heard. A low frequency that arrives through the building's bones as much as through the air. None of these sounds are separate from the others exactly. Together they make the thing that cities make at night, a sound like a very large animal breathing slowly in its sleep, steady and unbothered, going on whether anyone listens or not. The lights are the thing, though. The lights are why you are standing here. They go on for miles. The nearest are individual and specific. The streetlights directly below, each one casting its pool of amber onto the pavement. The pools spaced evenly along the street with darkness between them. A pedestrian crossing signal cycles through its colours at the corner, red to green to flashing and back, performing its sequence for an intersection that is, at this moment, completely empty. It does not mind. It continues. Further out, the lights begin to lose their individuality and become texture. The mid-distance is a field of points, windows, street lamps, the moving lights of cars reduced to slow, bright beads sliding along the threads of the roads. And the field has structure to it, a pattern that follows the underlying logic of the streets. The long, bright lines of the avenues, the dimmer cross-hatching of the side streets, the dark interruptions where a park lies, or a school's grounds, or the broad black ribbon of the river, which carries no light of its own and shows itself only as an absence, a winding band of darkness through the brightness, with the lit arcs of two bridges crossing it. And beyond that, the far distance, where the lights dissolve entirely into glow, a shimmer along the horizon, individual sources no longer distinguishable, just the luminous haze of the city continuing past the point where the eye can resolve it. Somewhere out there, the city ends and becomes something else, suburbs thinning into countryside. But from here that ending cannot be seen. From here the lights simply continue until they become indistinct, and the indistinctness continues until it meets the sky. The sky above the city is not black. It is a deep charcoal amber, the colour of night filtered through the city's upward light, and only a few stars manage it. 3, perhaps 4, the very brightest ones, holding their places above the glow. An aircraft moves across this sky from left to right, its lights pulsing in their slow rhythm, red and white, descending gradually towards the airport that lies somewhere beyond the right-hand edge of the window. It takes a long time to cross. You watch it the whole way without deciding to. A car moves along the street directly below. From this height its progress is unhurried, almost gentle, the headlights sweeping the parked cars as it turns, the red tail lights diminishing as it continues up the block and around the corner and is gone. The street returns to its stillness. The pools of lamplight lie on the empty pavement exactly as before. In the building across the street, a residential building much like this one, brick, 8 stories. Most of the windows are dark. But on the 5th floor, 2 windows to the left of centre, a light is on, and behind the thin curtain a figure moves occasionally, passing, pausing, passing back. It is impossible and unnecessary to know what they are doing. Tidying, perhaps, or making something in a kitchen, or simply moving through their apartment in the unstructured way of a person at the end of a day, picking things up, setting things down. Their light is warm, like yours. Their evening is their own. There is a quiet companionship in it nonetheless. 2 lit windows facing each other across a dark street, neither aware of the other particularly, both awake in the sleeping city. A few floors above them, another window is lit, but blue-toned and flickering slightly. A television, watched or unwatched, washing its room in changing light. The breeze moves through the street below. You cannot feel it behind the glass, but you can see its effects, the thin branches of the street trees stirring at the edges of the lamplight, a piece of paper lifting from the gutter and settling a metre further on, the surface of a puddle near the crossing trembling and going still. It rained earlier this evening. The streets still hold it in patches, the asphalt darker where it stays wet, the puddles catching the street lights and holding small inverted versions of them, amber coins of light scattered along the gutters. The rain has left the air clearer than it was. The lights in the middle distance are sharper tonight than they usually are, each point more distinct, the whole field of the city more finely resolved. You shift your weight. The floor is solid beneath your feet. Somewhere in the building, far below, a door closes, the sound arriving as a soft, deep thump through the structure, and then nothing. The building holds many people, most of them asleep, their separate rooms stacked above and below and beside one another, all of them held in the same brick and concrete, the same warmth, the same low hum of the building's own systems going about their night work. The radiator under the window ticks once, quietly, its metal adjusting to some small change in temperature. It is warm near the window where the radiator is, and you have been standing in that warmth without noticing it, and you notice it now. The crossing signal at the corner runs through its cycle again, green for no one. It is somehow not futile. It is more like a kind of faithfulness. Out on the river, something moves. A barge, very slow, its navigation lights the only evidence of it. A green point and a white point travelling together along the dark band of the water. It passes under the nearer bridge, its lights briefly lost beneath the arc of the bridge's own lights. Then it emerges on the other side and continues, at its enormous patience, downstream towards whatever harbour or mooring is its destination tonight. The water it moves through cannot be seen. Only the lights, moving the way lights move when they are carried by water, with a faint, smoothed slowness that no vehicle on land possesses. The sound of the train comes again from the far corridor, that low frequency in the bones of the building, rising slightly and then fading. It is a freight train by the length of the sound. It goes on for a long time, faint and steady, and then it does not. Across the street, the figure behind the fifth-floor curtain has stopped moving. The light remains on. Perhaps they are sitting now, somewhere out of view, with a book or a cup of something. The curtain holds its warm glow steadily. The aircraft has long since gone, but another follows it now, on the same descending line, the same patient pulse of red and white, the city receiving aircraft all night long at intervals like slow breaths. You look down at the street trees. They are plane trees, mostly bare at this time of year, and their upper branches reach into the light of the street lamps, so that the fine twigs at their ends are lit amber against the darkness behind them. A delicate, complicated tracery, completely still now that the breeze has dropped. Every small branch holding its position. Beneath the nearest tree, a bicycle is locked to a stand, leaning at a slight angle, its wheel rims catching a thin line of lamplight. It has been there all evening. It will be there in the morning. The puddle by the crossing has gone still and holds its inverted streetlight without a tremor. You breathe out, and the small circle of fog appears on the glass and fades. The room behind you holds its lamplight, and it's quiet. The chair, the shelf, the soft geography of a home at night. You are aware of it the way you are aware of your own body, without looking, as a warmth at your back, a known and settled thing. In a while you will turn back into it. Not yet. The city has grown quieter even in the time you have been standing here. The arterial road's wash of traffic has thinned further, the gaps between cars longer now, each individual vehicle audible for a moment as a rising and falling note before it merges back into the general hush. The ventilation hum on the nearby rooftop continues, single and sustained. The city's drone note, the sound underneath all other sounds. The lit windows across the cityscape have reduced, one by one, in the unnoticeable way that such things happen. You never see a window go dark. You only notice at some point that there are fewer than there were. The field of lights is mostly streetlights now, mostly the city's permanent constellation, the lights that stay on all night regardless, lamps, signals, red points at the tops of the towers blinking their slow warning to aircraft. The bridge lights doubled in the dark river beneath them. The fifth-floor window across the street goes dark. It is gentle when it happens, the warm rectangle simply ceasing, the curtain becoming one more grey shape on a dark facade. Whoever they are, their day is finished. The building absorbs them into its sleeping majority. The television window a few floors up flickers on alone for a while longer, blue and changing, and then it too goes dark mid-flicker, and the facade across the street is whole and unlit from end to end. Your own lamp, behind you, is now perhaps the only one on this stretch of the street. The thought is not lonely. It is more like being the one left holding a small light while everything else rests. A watchman's feeling, mild and warm, with no duty attached to it. The crossing signal cycles. The amber pools lie on the pavement. The bicycle leans in its thin line of light. Far out, at the very edge of what can be seen, the glow along the horizon has not changed and will not change, for it is the city's constant, the light it gives off simply by existing, by keeping its systems running through the night, its hospitals and bakeries and depots, and all the scattered rooms of people awake for their 10,000 separate reasons. From here it is only a shimmer, a warmth at the edge of the dark. It asks nothing. You rest your forehead lightly against the glass. The coolness of it is precise and pleasant, a single clear sensation. Below, the city continues at its low hum. Above, the 3 or 4 stars hold on in the amber charcoal sky. The barge has disappeared downriver. The last aircraft has landed or passed beyond hearing. The radiator ticks once more and is quiet. The street below is empty and lit and patient, and the trees hold their fine bare branches in the lamplight without moving. The puddle holds its small amber coin, and the city breathes its long, slow, sleeping breath that does not change and does not stop and does not need anything from you at all. You stay a moment longer, your fingertips on the cool sill, your breath making and unmaking its small circle of fog. The lights go on shining, every one of them, steadily, all the way out to where they become the glow, and the glow becomes the sky.